It's Hikaru Nakamura with white, Alireza Firouzja with black, and these were the opening moves to their round 12 game in the Candidates Chess Tournament, the business end of the tournament, and Alireza plays a French. Hikaru goes for an exchange, and I cannot believe what we see in this game. Something appalling happens. Even from the start though, the tactics are flying. It's a thing of beauty to watch. Now this move of c4 strikes at the black centre straight away. Takes possible, or c6. Alireza goes knight f6. Now Hikaru closes the centre. No time for the bishop to bounce back here, which would be desirable. So bishop e7, and now this is where Hikaru takes it in a different direction. He throws in this check. Even though this has a reputation for being boring, exchanging the pawns right, Hikaru's showing there's life in the position because he drags this bishop to this diagonal here, so it's never going to bounce around this way, look to exchange. We're getting pieces on the board, tension, fighting chess. Bishop e3, knight c6, both players bringing the steeds into the game, and now Alireza plays to undermine Hikaru's centre. Hikaru carries on, calmly developing, and now Alireza changes the construction. He's got that nice bathtub of minor pieces. He wants to now leap them forward onto the other side of the board, but same construction, and he starts with this move. Hikaru doesn't blunder his queen. What a player. World number 3. I was going to say number 2, but that's Fabi. Now there's a threat to go knight c2 check. Pick up the rook. So Hikaru goes rook c1. Now knight g4, attacking the bishops. And Hikaru just plays bishop f4. Keeps his bishop pair, but allows Alireza to win a pawn, which he duly does. Both players here to fight, and now we see the new construction. Alireza with that lovely symmetry, a pawn to the good, and he's got his king castled first. But now after Hikaru castles, we see some of the compensation here. Open c-file, tender pawn, tender d pawn. You know, what if you try and protect everything? Well, then knight a4. Bishop retreating to hold the knight, but a3, where's it going? You can't come here, you lose it. Pawns dropping soon, so much play for white. So that's why rook e8. Alireza goes for the dynamic counterplay. Now a3 comes. Does Alireza retreat? No. The game explodes. Pawn d4 comes, ploughing through the centre here. So knight b5 in response, and everything's hanging for black. The knight, the bishop with the rook attacking it. You've got this big threat here, supported from afar. What do you do? Well, the only thing you can do if you're black here, pawn d3. Keep counter-attacking, create your own threats. Now, bishop d1, apparently most precise, according to the Silicon Overlord. But Hikaru takes on c5. What an exchange sacrifice. Such exciting chess that he's playing this tournament. We get takes on e2. The rook about to be captured with check. So it saves itself. Knight d3 from Alireza. What an octopus. Reminiscent of Garry Kasparov's monster win over Karpov in one of the previous World Championships. And now Hikaru shows the second brilliant point. He takes the undefended bishop on f5. The tactics are flying. Queen d7 apparently best. Hit 2 pieces, then you force this. Well, not force, but it's the top move. Then you take on e1, very complicated. But Alireza takes the rook immediately, and it's a mistake. Because now knight recaptures, the queens come off the board, bishop takes, rook a d8, bishop c3, rook d1, and after f3, although the rook and the pawn look very, very powerful, the king's snaking out. And long run, the 2 minor pieces against the rook should be superior. We get knight e3, hits the unprotected rook, but Hikaru doesn't move it. He first flicks in, takes on c7. You take my rook, I take yours. It's better for white. So rook e7 played. Now Hikaru defends his knight. We get f6, same pawn structure, preparing to bring the king. They've both lifted the kill. And now if you go king f2 immediately, it's not a good move because black sidesteps with the rook to c1, threatening knight d1 check. There's big problems here after that. And of course, you're now eyeballing this rook, which is defending this knight. Not what you want. So that's why bishop b4 first. Good move. Keeps an eye on Alireza's rook move. Also covers the c2 square. We get king f7. h4 from Hikaru, just making some room over there. Delaying king f2. Alireza does the same. Is that not just hanging a pawn? Well, if you capture, your knight drops here. So king f2 now played, and Alireza should wait with his rook on the d file. These are some sample moves. But he plays rook b2, and it allows this knight to now jump backwards out of its cubbyhole on c7, and if you exchange, rook recaptures, then move this rook, well, wherever you go, white's getting some big invasion stuff going. The knight can come to d3 soon, potentially, or at least if the rook ever leaves the d file. You know, if you go here, knight d3, it's just not ideal. So no takes played. That's why knight d1 check played, king g3, rook e5, coming away from this X-ray attack finally, and now Hikaru goes knight d3, the rook back to e8, and he misses the way to play. He should go rook c7 check. The king steps back. Then he can go knight 5 to f4, start eyeballing this pawn. But he plays bishop e1 immediately, and it's a really bad move because simply knight takes on b2, and this knight is overloaded defending here and the bishop. Now Hikaru had seen this stuff, but he knew that this wasn't the best way to play, didn't go for it, but what he had planned was this move, which we see in the game. Now the idea is, after this rook moves, we get this exchange, but after rook b7 check, there's a problem. Because in many of the previous lines, with the bishop on b4, the king couldn't step to f8, so it had to go to g8. Then you can check, king goes, suddenly you're back in the driving seat as white, you win the a pawn, the knight's coming to f5, that kind of thing. But after this check, black doesn't have to go king g8, you can go king f8, and now there's no time to check or anything like that. And if you pick up the a pawn, not possible, you drop the knight on d5. Hikaru's advantage unraveling. So knight f4 played. Rook is hit, but it takes on a3. A massive thing for Alireza to now have a passed a pawn. King f2 back. We see a5 on the board. This is move 39. Rook a7. Rook a4 hits this knight. And after Hikaru defends, he's just holding off taking. Doesn't have to rush it. Wants to cover this pawn. Alireza makes an atrocious blunder that's really inexplicable. They've just got time back. The clock shows 30 more minutes each. How can now Alireza go and do something this bad as pushing his pawn to g5? All he had to do was wait, something like rook a2. I say all he had to do, he's been under a lot of pressure, but for a player of his caliber, he should know how bad this pawn push is, because after Hikaru captures, pawn captures, knight takes here, he's just hugely helped Hikaru unravel the position. We get rook e5, g4, cementing the knight. The king starts marching over, check, king f8, the knight hops back. It's got these amazing light squared outposts now to work with. Rook a2, another check flicked in, more checks, the knight spinning round, and soon we even see this a pawn drop. The one source of counterplay that Alireza had alongside e2, gone off the board, king e3, and Alireza resigns the game. He's completely blown it. Say you just wait with the rook here, defend your pawn. Well, then king d3, prepare knight c4, sure you can wait, but slowly and surely white comes out the box. You can't even keep the rook with the pawn now. Here's a sample line, pawn drops, and soon enough you're going to bring the pieces forward, win this g-pawn. Even if all these pieces left the board, when you win the g-pawn, you're still left with two connected, gonna run through, make a baby girl. Huge win for Hikaru, But Gukesh also won, as you can see in the standings here, and Jan held a draw against Prague. So this the standings. What a mouth-watering finish. 2 rounds to go. Don't go anywhere. Smash subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.